Hunsucker, who's going to be fighting Justin Tafa on UFC Fight Night on December 18th. So welcome, man.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you for having me on.
No, I appreciate you taking your time. I know you're in the process of driving, so please be safe.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I'm good.
And obviously, previously when we were talking, you said that you had a bit of you're taking a flight and you had a bit of a drive ahead of you. So where are you heading?
So I am on my way back from Georgia right now, back to Kentucky. I flew down here this morning and I picked up a school bus. I run 4 martial arts schools, and we do an after-school program where we pick kids up after school every day. And we needed another vehicle, so I came down here to Marietta, Georgia, to pick up this bus that I'm driving and getting back to Kentucky tonight.
Excellent. Sorry, I'm just having a bit of a hard time hearing you, so I'll try my best and go from there.
I'll talk a little bit louder too. I apologize.
Yeah. So like, I gotta ask, like, how are you feeling right now? And I mean, we're pretty much a month away from your fight. How are you feeling? And how's fight camp going so far?
I'm feeling really good, honestly. I mean, I've never felt this good. I'm down substantially weight wise from where I normally fight at. I'm going to be about 235, 240 come fight day. And normally I'm about 250, 260, somewhere in between there whenever I fight. So I'm going to be in really good shape this time around. I've got everything training wise back into order. I mean, both of the times that everyone's seen me, on the Contender Series and on the Tuivasa fight, my main gym that I train at for MMA was closed down. I fought on short notice. I was beat up, a little beat up and banged up both times from fighting, a couple weeks before that. So, I mean, obviously those are all great excuses for me to use on why I lost. But I think now that everyone gets to see me on a full fight camp, healthy, and in my best condition that I've ever been in, I think that we're going to see who I really am. You know what I mean? And I'm really excited to showcase who I really am as a fighter.
Well, it's got to feel good. I mean, having the chance to finally have a full camp and having all the resources you need to prepare for a big fight.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, one of the great things about the UFC is the use of the Performance Institute. I mean, I'm getting all my supplements sent to me from the PI. I've got strength and conditioning. I've got physical therapy. I've got the sports psychologist. I mean, there's a lot of really cool resources that come along with having the Performance Institute at my exposure.
And I gotta ask, I don't think it's been confirmed, but it's safe to assume that your fight's going to be in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I think it'll be at Gapex. I'm assuming that's where they're doing all the fight night parts. So I assume it'll be there.
And do you have any plans, like, once you know for sure? Do you have any plans on going down early to get used to the area, or what are your plans there?
No, I'll head out whenever they fly me out. I'll head down then. So I'll just do like I've normally done. Whenever they call, I'll fly out. This time it just happens to be with a little bit more preparation, a little bit more notice.
Absolutely. Now, before I get into talking about your preparation for this fight and the fight itself, I noticed that you're the GM at the Elite Martial Arts. Can you kind of talk a little bit about that facility and what it is that you do there?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been with Elite for going on 11 years now. Whenever I started, we were one location with maybe 100 students, plus or minus some. I'm not even sure, honestly. Now we have 4 locations. We have somewhere between 500 and 700 students between the 4 locations. And we do after-school programs where we pick kids up after school every day. We do summer camps whenever school is out. We teach kids martial arts, and then we teach adult martial arts. And At my location specifically, we teach Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as well at my location that I teach at.
And what is it like to have kids training at a young age and opening that door of MMA?
I mean, I don't even teach MMA at my school. We don't even do MMA there. I mean, obviously, I train MMA, but I'm not the business of coaching and training fighters myself. Maybe one day down the road I will be, but right now it's just not. That this is my personal thing that I do with MMA. But as for training kids in martial arts, number one, it teaches them about facing obstacles, and overcoming obstacles. Definitely gets them in better shape, gets them off the couch, and gives them something that is exciting. You know what I mean? And it's fitness related because I think every kid wants to be a ninja or a Power Ranger or a Ninja Turtle at some point during their youth, whether it's a boy or a girl. You know what I mean? I think that it lets us harness that want and then give them constructive, something constructive to do with their time.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess I want to elaborate on that. Besides being a father, I mean, do you feel you have that role to be that role model for the young learners and those up and coming kids?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Anytime that you're in a position of leadership where you're working with kids, you definitely have to act as a role model and act as if you're the hero to those kids. And that's something that I think that I personally have struggled with a lot because growing up, from where I come from, I never felt that I would get to be anybody's hero. And now a lot of people really look up to me, and it's a really cool thing. And then take the UFC thing out of it completely. I mean, just what we do at Elite and our mission and our purpose at Elite, a lot of people I feel like look up to me and Elite because of that.
Absolutely, 100%. And talking about you're like your kids, your family. When you have fights, are they allowed to watch you fight or no?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, my kids have been to my fights before. They've watched them on TV. We rewatch them sometimes. They're definitely not. It's not something that we keep a secret from them. It's definitely out in the open. Both of my two oldest kids both train martial arts too, and my youngest actually just started as well. She's 3, and she started probably 3 4 months ago, something like that.
And do you think it's kind of a good thing to have kids open to the idea that fighting is an option in life, or do you how do you prepare your kids for life? Do you keep it as an option, or you let them do what they want to do? Like, what's your
kids? You're talking my kids personally?
Yes, sorry.
So with my kids personally, they have to get their black belt. I mean, I'm going to make them just because I know what it will do for them as a person. So they definitely have to get their black belt in Taekwondo. That's required. But outside of that, after they get their black belt, then if they want to continue doing it, they can. Both of my kids have started competing recently too at tournaments. So, and it's not something that I'm gonna force them to do forever, but it is something that right now they do have to do just because I know that the experience is gonna up their confidence levels a lot.
Absolutely. And rewinding back to your last bout with Tai Tuivasa, understandably, fight on short notice, it was a good opportunity for you. Obviously, it didn't go your way. But prior to being signed, did you have any indication that there was kind of a fight coming up or there was something planned for you?
Yeah. So if this opportunity wouldn't have come up, we were going to get on the next season of the Contender Series. They were already actively working on booking us for season 5. Yeah, season 5. And then this opportunity came up with Tuivasa, and it was something that I definitely wanted to jump on.
And having that opportunity, after the fight had happened or prior to the fight, did Tai talk to you at all? Any comments or anything like that?
Yeah, he was very open about like being very thankful that I took the fight because he had been stuck here for a little bit because of number one, you know, trying to get a fight to happen, and number two, I guess there's some weird rules with the quarantine and COVID in Australia. I think that they're one of the places that are the toughest on, uh, toughest on COVID lockdown. So, uh, he was very vocal and thankful about me stepping up for the fight. And then afterwards, like he said in all the interviews, he brought me a beer. I had a beer with him, and he was cool. He was a nice guy. I got nothing bad at all to say about Ty.
And I mean, like, now that you got proper time to prepare for your next opponent, Justin Tafa, you got a taste of fighting on short notice. So obviously, maybe you don't have enough time to prepare for an opponent, but do you kind of relish the fact that you don't have all that time to dwell on fighting, or would you prefer having a full camp?
I definitely want the full camp because it gives me time to mentally prepare for it. On the flip side of that, however, I have found that the great thing about fighting those short notice fights is that you don't have enough time to process the nerves. And I'm not going to lie, this time I've been thinking about it every day, all day, every waking moment. Every time I take a bite of food, I'm thinking about December 18th. You know what I mean? And that's a good thing, though. At the end of the day, this is pressure that I signed myself up for and that I was 100% prepared for whenever the opportunity came. Now that it's here, it is kind of heavy. I'm not going to lie to you, but it's nothing that I'm going to run from. I'm going to face it, and I'm going to bring home my first UFC win.
Absolutely. With Justin Tafa, when you signed the bout agreement, did you know who he was? Did you know anything about him?
Yeah. I mean, I actually called him out for the fight, and not because I have anything against him, but I just thought that it would be a great matchup for the UFC to make. I mean, we have had similar struggles at performance-wise, and I just thought it was a very evenly matched fight, and it ended up coming to fruition. So that was a great thing.
Awesome. And looking at this matchup, what is that you bring to this fight that he's not expecting or he's never seen before?
I think that the biggest difference is going to be me being more well-rounded than him. I haven't seen him do anything but box. You know what I mean? He throws kicks too, obviously, but I've not seen anything outside of him kickboxing. So, we're going to see where he's, what he's like in all facets of mixed martial arts. We're going to try to push the fight in all territories just to keep the confusion up.
100%. And if you could give me a prediction for the fight, what would you have to say?
I know it won't go to a decision. I can say that pretty confidently. I know that he's gone to decisions with a couple of people. I'm not a decision fighter. Anybody that knows me knows I've never been out of the first round. Whether it's a stand-up finish or a ground finish, I, of course, am going to predict myself to win. But, not by decision.
Awesome. And I don't think much fans, when they see a heavyweight fight, they're thinking like somebody's going out.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he hits hard. My last win, I got a huge knockout in. I've won multiple fights by stoppage, TKO, KO, submission. I feel like I'm a more well-rounded fighter for sure, and I'm more seasoned. I've fought a lot more than him, man. I've fought. I had almost 15 amateur fights, and now I'm working on number 12 as a pro. I feel like I'm much more seasoned fighter too, so I've got that going for me. Plus, I'm older than him too. You know what I mean? I'm a little bit more mature than him, age-wise.
100%. Excellent to hear. And like, depending on how the outcome of the fight, whether you come in, out, or you come out unscathed, or whatever. How quickly would you like to get back in there?
I'm open to anything, man. As long as I'm ready, I'll be there. You know what I mean? Obviously, the UFC knows when they need somebody on short notice, they can call me. I'll step up. Hopefully, we don't have to do that, but I'm open for anything, man. Obviously, I've got December 18th on my calendar, and I'm only worrying about that day right now. But, anything after that, I'm definitely open to as well.
And I just wanted your thoughts on a couple things. So with the UFC heavyweight division, there's been a lot of turnover in the last year. I mean, guys like Junior DeSantos got cut, Alistair Overeem is gone. A couple other guys are out of that picture. So it's really brought in a new level of fighters. I mean, like yourself, a lot of guys are coming in wanting to get into that top 15 spot. What are your thoughts on that whole division? Does that get you excited having that new era of competition?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it makes me sad to see some of the old dogs going out, like Junior Dos Santos, like you said. He's been one of my favorite fighters for a long time, and I got to go a couple of rounds with him down at ATT in Coconut Creek whenever I was doing my first pro fight. I got some rounds in with him, and he's a super nice guy. So it makes me sad to see some of the legends going out. But everybody has their day. You know what I mean? We can't do this forever, and it's crazy for us to think that we can. However, the way that the division is going, it's been dry for a long time. That's why they've been leaning on those legends. But now we got this new influx of younger talent and, guys that are much different fighters now. I mean, every few years, I would like to consider it a new generation, more evolved generation of new fighters. And we're getting those guys like Tom Aspinall that are, excellent fighters. You got Sergey Spivak, right? Then you got Romanov, like some of these guys who are more lower level of heavyweights that are these guys are killers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it would definitely be interesting to see what kind of movement we'll see in the next year. I mean, the heavyweight fights is always someone that's starting to stand out more and more. And that being said, turning into my next question for you, I mean, you got that matchup with Francis Ngannou and Cyril Gane. I mean, this is a great fight. What do you think?
Um, that's a hard one to call.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually just got to meet Francis whenever I was out at the PI, and he's a super nice guy, and he's a friggin' mountain dude. I mean, a massive dude. But I think myself, I would go with Gane if I was calling that match, just because I think he's got a little bit more experience. Ngannou is a great fighter, and I'm not trying to knock him at all, but he is still a younger fighter. You know what I mean? And that's crazy to say about the UFC heavyweight champion. But, I think that Gane is the more experienced martial artist fighter.
Yeah, it'll be definitely interesting to see the way he moves for a heavyweight. Is you don't see that too often. The way he quite frankly, he looks more like a middleweight than anything.
Gane.
Yeah, Gane.
Yeah, I agree. He's something else, man. He's talented.
With that being said, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I know you're driving here, so good luck with your fight on December 18th.
I really appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right.